Hi, my name's Nick Soulsby. For the last 4 years I've essentially been researching the band Nirvana. This is now my third and what I think will be my final book about the band. It's called Cobain on Cobain. It's a collection of interviews, many of them rare, unseen, many of them complete tapes that have never been heard before. It's focused on interviews from 1989 to 1994 with Nirvana, with its individual members, with Kurt Cobain specifically. There's a big question, which is, why are we still talking about Kurt Cobain 22 years after the man's death? The most beautiful way I heard it described to me was by a musician from New York who said, "He'll never let us down. He'll never record a song called Smells Like the Interior of a New Lexus. He'll never suffer a wardrobe malfunction in the middle of the Super Bowl." I thought that was a beautiful idea, and what I loved was, in Cobain and Cobain, find an interview where the band themselves joke about becoming old rock stars, releasing compilations of hits in order to pay for their new car. This was the kind of thing that as young men they joked around. They joked about becoming rock stars in their mid to late 40s, who had lost touch with everyone, who no longer looked like their own audience. This is what they feared, and this ultimately is what hasn't had to happen. It's a sad thought that death has kept someone frozen in time, but also has kept them perfect as well. With his death, Kurt Cobain will never have to go through those compromises that we see many musicians endure. We'll never see him get old. He would have been 49 this year. That's 20 years short of David Bowie dying. Up until the early 90s, the image of the rock star was quite a cartoonish one. It was well-muscled, masculine guys, highly sexist, gun-toting, macho. Kurt Cobain was the complete opposite. The world was ready for something new, and what it got was an icon that more liberal people could take to. This was a man who wore dresses and talked about how much he enjoyed the company of women and how much he hated sexism. This was a guy who despised racism or any form of discrimination. This is a very easy guy to like, because ultimately he was always polite. He was always happy to see people. His sins were private ones. A friend of mine said to me, the difficult thing about writing about Nirvana is we all now have our own Kurt Cobain in our head, and we defend it. And that's very true. When I speak to fanatical fans just like me, they have a version of Kurt Cobain that they hold true to, and I have one I hold true to. So with Cobain on Cobain, what I wanted to get back to was the actual person speaking for themselves. An entire book where the conversations are the individual in the moment between the ages of 22 and 27 speaking for himself. What concerned him at those moments in time? How did he react to the major events of the band's career? When bad things happened, what was his first instinct, and what did he say publicly? That's what I hoped to capture, was that desire to get back to the real person at the core of it. I think it succeeded. We'll see.